Hi everybody. So I have been wanting to make this video for so long, and I recorded on my regular camera and the battery kept dying. So I'm like, I'm never gonna get this done. So today we're getting it done before I have to go and pick my daughter up from school. So we're gonna get through it. So today we're talking about sublimation. I have so many people ask me about sublimation on my Instagram because I do a lot of sublimation in my business. So I wanted to go over a few basics and hopefully give y'all some tips when you're starting out with sublimation. And sublimation, I'm gonna just put it in layman's terms. It's basically an ink dye process. So you need a special paper, a special ink, special printer to pretty much create. I'm gonna show you a finished product, and then we're gonna do one together. So this is a desk mat that I made in using sublimation. So first thing we're gonna start out with, some people call blanks, sublimation blanks. Some people, you may hear the word substrate, but basically you're starting off with a blank product, typically made from polyester, because the ink in sublimation, it doesn't adhere to natural fibers like cotton. So you're gonna definitely wanna use polyester for the best possible outcome with sublimation. When it comes to printers, I personally myself, I have a Sawgrass SG500, and I also have a Epson F570. So for these big ones right here, I use my Epson F570 because the Epson, it prints wider and to infinity as far as the length goes. So those are the two printers that I use. And you're gonna need, as far as the ink, I just use the ink that, for the Epson, I use Epson inks. For the Sawgrass, I use Sawgrass inks. There are some inks that you can use that are not from the manufacturer, but do keep in mind, if you put those inks in your printer, they have chips in them, so they will know, then you're going to risk voiding your warranty. So those are pretty much the basics. You're wanting to use polyester. Now, there are some things that are coated, because I do have, you can get like MDF blanks. Let me see if I have any nearby. I don't have any nearby, but I do have a bookmark. So I guess really the substrate would probably be like when you're thinking about your MDFs and stuff like that. But there are certain products that you can, that are coated, they have a special coating on it that will allow you to sublimate on them. So if you ever seen people that have like these metal license plates, they have a special coating on it which allows it to be sublimatable. So that would be considered your substrate. You have your MDF board and it has a special coating on it. I've even seen people with paper clips that has a special coating on it which allows it to be sublimatable. So you definitely want to start off with a blank and then with your printer. And another thing I want to talk about with printers that we don't, I want to give my opinion on it. So you don't necessarily have to go out and get a sublimation printer. I prefer a sublimation printer because I feel like it's less fuss. And if you just heard the little circulation in the background, because I am in my office here, it kind of circulates the inks in the background so you don't have that risk of clogging. So there are some people that will take an Epson ET2800, for example. They will take that, it's a brand new printer, and they will take sublimation ink and they would put it inside the ET2800, and that is what makes it a sublimation printer. for them. But the thing about that is, and this is what kind of like, you know, deterred me from doing that, is when I first started doing sublimation, so many people were complaining about it clogging, because it's not a sublimation printer. It's not intended for that particular ink. So yes, it does work. Now, if you're going to be using your printer like often, because you do have to run it, then hey, if that's going to be the cheapest option for you to start out, go ahead and do it. It's not something that I suggest that you do, but that is an option when we're talking about sublimation. Now, what I'm going to do, I went ahead and we're going to do a mouse pad today. This is for a customer's order that I have. So I already printed the image, and when it's printed, I think it's probably going to show up the right way on the screen, but your images are usually backwards, I guess you can say. So when you lay your mat on it, it's going to press the right way. So basically, with a sublimation printer, mine, it's always mirrored. I don't have to mirror it. Now, that is one thing when you are converting a printer, and I know I'm probably jumping all over the place, but just bear with me. When you convert a printer, you're going to always have to make sure you remember to click mirror, because you always want to mirror your image, because you're laying the product flat down on it. So you want to make sure that it's going to read the correct way after you press it. With the sublimation printer, it automatically mirrors it, because that's what it's intended for. So we're going to go ahead and do this. I also have a lanyard, because I sell teacher lanyards. So we're going to sublimate on a teacher lanyard as well. Now, the first things that I make sure that I have down pat before I even press is I make sure that my tension is correct on my heat press. Now, when we're talking about heat presses and sublimation, it's not like vinyl, because vinyl you would use the heat is lower, but the time is longer. So with sublimation, it likes high heat. And that's another reason why you can't really use cotton, because you run the risk of burning the material. So sublimation, I know for me, I usually set my press at 380 for 40 seconds. So you want high heat for a shorter period of time. And that allows for that, because basically what happens is when you print on your sublimation printer, your sublimation inks, on your sublimation paper, this is a sub, on your sublimation paper, when you put this under the heat press, it's going to release the gases in that ink, and it's going to pretty much make it part of your substrate or your blank. So it's going to be one. It's not like vinyl where you would feel it. It's not like vinyl where you're going to feel it. This is like, it becomes part of the fabric, the mouse pad, whatever. You're not going to be able to feel it. Basically, the inks are just going to be dyed into the fibers of this polyester. So we want to make sure that the tension is right. And let me tell you why. Because if you put say you take your mouse pad, you put it on your heat press, and the tension is not right, you run the risk of ghosting. And ghosting is where the best way I can explain ghosting, and I don't have anything to show you what it looks like, but it kind of looks like you just didn't quite press it long enough, pretty much. You can tell the colors are not in there, they're faded. So you want to make sure that you actually have the tension correct before, so you don't run the risk of ghosting. And I'll let you all know a little tip that I use to make sure I have my pressure right. Now, when it comes to sublimation, you do need a clamshell heat press. I am not going to recommend any particular brand, because to be quite honest with you, as long as it's a clamshell where you can adjust the tension on that heat press, that's really all you need. I know when I first started out, I got like $100 heat press from Amazon, and that's all I needed, to be quite honest with you. So let's go on over to the heat press, and I'm going to show you the tip that I have to make sure that you have the tension down pat first before you press the image onto your mouse pad. Okay, so we're at my heat press. So what I typically will do, and I'm recording with one hand, y'all, so bear with me. So I basically have it hanging off a little bit, right? And then I will close it down. We're gonna lock it in place, and I'm gonna tug. If I cannot move this mouse pad, then we know that the tension is good. Now, if I were to pull on this and I would be able to take it out from underneath the heat press, we need to apply more pressure. So the pressure is good here, so we're going to go ahead and put the design on the mouse pad. Okay, so now that we have the pressure set, and I tilted the camera down a little bit so y'all can see what I'm doing. So with mouse pads, I always print the image a little bit bigger than the mouse pad, just so that it covers everything. So if you can see, it's like the image is a tad bit bigger. So you always want to measure your substrate or your blank and make it a little bit bigger. So I have heat tape. This is heat resistant tape, so that because we're going to be working with high heat, this tape, it doesn't melt or anything like that once the heat hits it. So we're going to tape it up, and I just taped it up like so. And one thing that you can get in most kits, like Sublimation, if you're doing like a starter kit or something, will have heat gloves. And this is so that when you pick it up, it doesn't burn your hands. So let's go ahead and bring this back on over to the heat press, and we're gonna go ahead and press this at 380 for 40 seconds. All right, so my heat press is already at the degree. Oh, you know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some parchment paper and protect my my plate. So give me a second while I do that. Okay, so I got my my heat press covered with the parchment paper, because this will bleed. This paper does bleed, so you want to protect it. So we're gonna go ahead and lock. Okay, it's locked in place. So my heat press, it has an auto release on it, so it pops up automatically after it goes. It's 40 seconds, and then we're gonna see how this turns out. But like I said, you don't have to get anything fancy. Just get a regular heat press. It clams down. If it doesn't auto releases, you just have to lift it up yourself. It's not a big deal at all. Seriously, it's not. So okay, so it's up. So we're gonna go ahead and move this over to the desk. And this is what I mean by it bleeds. So if you're doing t-shirts on your heat press or other things, you definitely want to make sure you have parchment paper laid down, because it'll protect it so that ink does not get on your this part of the heat press. Because I would hate for you to put down a white t-shirt and you're thinking you're about to press your image down on it, and then you have some ink that's left over from when you were sublimating. So just be careful with that. Make sure you get parchment paper. So we got our image pressed down on our mouse pad, and this is what it looks like. So basically, as you can see, when you print your image on your sublimation paper with your sublimation ink and your sublimation printer, once you apply it to your mouse pad and you press it down, you're releasing that ink off of the paper onto your substrate, your blank, whichever way you want to call it, and then you get a finished product like this, and it is into the fibers of that mouse pad. So it's not like vinyl where you're going to feel it. You're not going to feel sublimation. It is infused in those fibers. So this is my sublimation 101 type video. I'm gonna do more of these because I am almost 100% sure. I think I covered all of the bases, but I want to definitely, you know, as we're chatting, I'm gonna go ahead and do this one as well. But I want to make sure that I cover other things, you know, sublimating on other things, so that, you know, we never know, something may come about and I may have forgotten to tell y'all something. So I'm definitely gonna make more videos like this, and you tell me what you want to see from me as well, you know. So this one, same time, same temp, we're gonna do a lanyard. So we're gonna put that on here, but I want you to tell me what you want to see from me as well, so that I can help y'all as much as I can with your sublimation journey. It's so easy. Once you get the hang of it, it's gonna be a breeze for you. I have no doubt. So in the comments, if you can put in there what other items you would like to see me sublimate, if it's something that I can do, I will definitely do it. Or what questions you have, what other videos from me that you would like to see. I pretty much do a lot of crafting. The main thing I do is resin and sublimation. I should get my heat gloves, right? I'm telling y'all to get the heat gloves, but sometimes I'm bad with it and I don't do it. But I do a little bit of everything, and I'm gonna try to incorporate that in here as well, of other stuff that I do on top of sublimating. But here's the lanyard, and then I'm gonna add the little the necklace piece to this. So that is the video for today, guys. Again, if you have any questions, comments, confusions, drop them in the comments, and we'll continue this conversation in the comment section. All right, bye guys.